Hello, and welcome to another exciting weekend edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Jabertha Atkinson, your host for today's enlightening journey. Thanks for joining us.
Are you protected? We're speaking about consumers and their access to information that is not only safe, but it's accurate, and it can be trusted. We're talking about data protection, e-commerce, online banking, and online fraud. The question is whether or not you can trust it. You're thinking about identity theft. You're thinking about where your documents are stored, and whether or not this can also impact you from a credit perspective. You are to get one free credit report each year. Do not waste that resource. Look at it, see how you can address whatever issues it might be pointing to, whether or not it is true, yea or nay. Ask questions and seek assistance whenever possible. Do not be afraid. Ask the questions. If you are unsure, sometimes we're doing something and we get a little gut feeling and you want to draw back. Do some more investigation to see whether or not this is something that you want to undertake, or whether or not it will affect you in a negative light.
Thanks for staying with us. On World Consumer Rights Day 2025, we turn the spotlight on the rights that protect us as consumers with a message from the Minister of Commerce.
Every consumer should have freedom of access to essential services that uphold their well-being and quality of life. As we observe World Consumer Rights Day on March 15, 2025, we are reminded of our responsibility to protect and empower consumers in Jamaica and beyond. The theme for this year, A Just Transition to Sustainable Lifestyles, speaks to the fundamental needs that must be met for a sustainable future. These include access to financing for businesses, job opportunities, affordable housing, food security, and comprehensive health and wellness services. A thriving economy is built on productive enterprises, competitive industries, and the ability to expand into global markets. To make sustainable living a reality for all, we are focusing on three key areas this year: food, health and wellness, and energy efficiency. As the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's business ministry, we encourage businesses to adopt long-term sustainable practices that protect the environment while increasing productivity and enhancing Jamaica's export capacity. By integrating eco-friendly technologies, businesses can reduce costs, improve efficiency, and tap into international markets, positioning Jamaica as a committed participant in the global sustainable economy. The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's business ministry, remains committed to strengthening Jamaica's business environment through initiatives like the MSME Roadshow, which provides vital resources and information to Jamaican entrepreneurs and business owners. We also encourage all consumers to support businesses that incorporate sustainable measures and to embrace the 3 R's: reuse, reduce, and recycle. Sustainable living is more than an aspiration. It is an achievable goal that requires collective effort. The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce is committed to Jamaica's economic growth and recognizes that it is only through continuous investment and increased productivity that Jamaica will be able to achieve a just transition to sustainable lifestyles. Happy World Consumer Rights Day to all Jamaica.
When we litter or when we actually dump garbage or waste onto the beaches, they end up in the sea, and then it creates a negative effect for our ecosystem. Just find better ways to dispose of our waste. The beach or the public space should not be one of them.
Be mindful that your actions impact not just the environment, but the future generations. We have a slogan that I always see on commercials, "No dirty up Jamaica." And I strongly believe in that. We have to do our part to set the tone so that future generations will see that example and treat the environment with respect.
In Jamaica today, a young girl is free to make her choices and to live as a liberated, confident woman. Whether she wants to be the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, any other cabinet minister, the Attorney General, the Chief Justice, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Public Defender, the Head of the Army, the Cabinet Secretary, a young woman in Jamaica today under this administration can aspire towards any leadership position in our country.
Thanks for staying with us. Fats, an essential part of our diet, but how much is too much? In this feature, we take a closer look at the different types of fats found in our food and the impact on our bodies.
The human brain is 60% fat. Fats provide a storehouse of energy for the body and promote normal cell growth and healthy skin. Fat also acts like a cushion and heat regulator to protect the heart, liver, and other vital organs. And as most people would know, fat adds flavor to our food and helps us feel full longer. It is clear that having fat in our diet is beneficial in many ways, but too much or the wrong kind can be equally harmful. Fat is a source of essential fatty acids which help the body absorb vitamins A, D, and E. There are 3 types. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids are both considered good fats. The third, saturated fatty acid, is what we are often encouraged to avoid or lower our intake. So too, trans fat, which is created by a process called hydrogenation that makes the fat harder at room temperature to increase the shelf life.
What is in our foods impact on the quality of our lives?
The World Health Organization recommends that trans fat intake be limited to less than 1% of total energy intake, which translates to less than 2.2 grams per day with a 2,000 calorie diet.
Studies have shown that saturated fat increases the amount of bad cholesterol or LDL in the blood and has no effect on the good cholesterol, HDL. Trans fatty acids increase the amount of bad cholesterol in the blood and also reduce the amount of good cholesterol. Diets high in these bad fats are linked to obesity, heart disease, and other cardiovascular-related problems. Trans fat also causes malformation of cell membranes and other cell structures in the body, leading to weak cell walls and abnormal cell function. They are not recognized by enzymes and can cause neural degeneration and diminished brain function. So why then is trans fat used? Well, taste and economics. Trans fat makes food stay fresh on the shelf longer and improves food texture and flavor stability. Based on a 2021 assessment of the fatty acids in commonly consumed foods in Jamaica, our intake is very high.
If you look at confectionery, you see how high the percentages there, and it comes down in several of the other food products. Okay, this is just the percentage that have trans fat. Notice that the canned foods had none at all, or the beverages that we looked at had no trans fat. Okay? But this is just saying whether there was trans fat in the product. What we are even more interested in is which products had high levels of trans fat. In terms of the highest concentrations, more than 2% of fat as trans fat, we see the dairy products, and it goes down like that. And then when we now look at those that had the same products that had high saturated fat along with the trans fat, we see the figures here.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is looking to change this and encourage better food production and consumption practices.
Healthier alternatives can be used that do not affect the taste or the cost of food.
Knowing what is in our food is part of the way forward. It is a lifestyle change to come through education, product reformulation, regulation, food labeling, and monitoring.
The elimination of industrially produced trans fats is part of a comprehensive policy package to prevent diet-related NCDs, which comprises mandatory food labeling, ingredients lists, nutrition panels declaring trans fats, interpretive front-of-package labeling based on nutrient profiles, restrictions on food marketing aimed at children and adolescents, mandatory standards for healthy food served in schools, and limits on sugar content.
It's not just about our resolve to do the right thing to consume what is in our best interest. That in and of itself is a challenge, because we have to now nudge, encourage, motivate, and in some instances legislate, I believe, certain types of actions to encourage better quality of life from a nutrition consumption standpoint. I think it is essential to advocating in the first instance for voluntary compliance as an immediate response.
As consumers, we have the choice of using naturally occurring unhydrogenated vegetable oils such as canola, safflower, sunflower, or olive oil. We can also limit red meat and choose lean cuts. It is also recommended that we steam, boil, or bake foods instead of cooking them in fats or oils. Another approach is to choose low-fat dairy products, poultry, and fish, and purchase processed foods made with unhydrogenated oils rather than partially or hydrogenated vegetable oils or saturated fats. Use soft margarines as a substitute for butter and choose soft margarine over the harder stick forms. Limit consumption of commercially fried foods and baked goods made with shortening or partially hydrogenated vegetable oils. Not only are these high in fat, but it is also likely to be trans fat. And cut back on foods high in dietary cholesterol. Let's eat healthy and live well.
In the ongoing battle for food security, proper storage and prevention are key. Today, we delve into the critical work being done by the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division to ensure the nation's food supply remains safe.
The Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division is mandated to ensure the wholesomeness of food entering commerce. So it's a division that is geared towards food safety. And to do that, we have an inspectorate unit, that is our frontline unit, that would go to the various points of entry, to anywhere that stores food. So we have inspectors stationed at the ports of entry, at supermarkets, warehouses. We check containers. Inspectors are almost anywhere where food is stored.
The Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division has been accredited to the ISO 17020 standard, which certifies their competence in doing food and field inspection in premises, containers, and on ships.
We also do breeding for schools and universities. So yes, we do that with the rats. We actually do trapping as well. We go out into the field and we do trapping. So at various locations, we'll take some designated rat traps and we go out and we would trap rats and we breed them in-house.
The division also comprises of a rodent biology and control unit where they conduct efficacy testing to see how effective rodenticides are on the rats.
There are some myths floating around with rats and how to keep rats away. And one of the myths is that you have to spice up the poison for them to eat it and to die, which isn't really so. It's best not to add things like gravy or other foodstuff to the poison. What you want the rat to do is to eat as much of the poison as possible.
Another myth is that by using select rodenticides, you will not be able to smell the rat once it dies.
The smell of the rat has to do with really how the time at which it dies and how far it is from where you thought it died. Another myth is that the rats can't climb on wires. Some of us would really see that they can climb on wires. You can see them on utility wires. Another myth is that if a rat bites your fruit, for example a mango, you can cut off that bitten portion and eat the rest. No, it's best to discard it and best not to eat it, because if the rat has eaten part of it, they could mess on the rest of the fruit, so you wouldn't want that. So if you have a fruit that is bitten by rats, best to discard it.
In addition to the Rodent Biology and Control Unit, the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division also has other testing laboratories such as the Pesticide, Residue and Microtoxin Unit, a Microbiology Unit, and an Entomology Unit. For more information on the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division, an entity under the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, visit or call them at their offices at 15 Gordon Road in Kingston or 30 to 34 Market Street, Montego Bay, St. James.
Lost receipts can mean big trouble during tax season. The Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ urges businesses to keep these records safe.
Most Jamaicans, from time to time, throw away the receipt. You're doing a business and you bought some stock. But because the quality of each of those receipts fade quickly, they just throw them away. The tax department is advising that you are to keep proper books and records for tax purposes. So if it is going to fade, what do you do first? You would ensure that you either scan it, copy it, and save it in a format that it can be used for future use later on. At least 7 years, the Income Tax Act would put it.
Yes, walk right over there and drop it in the bin. Reuse that wastewater from your kitchen for the garden. Get your hands dirty and plant a tree. Farmers, hold off on the pesticides, especially near our rivers. Do your part to protect our watersheds so we can preserve the source of our drinking water. Every act to protect our watersheds counts. Start now.
The government is modernizing the health system with digitized health records, paving the way for more efficient, accessible, and secure healthcare for all. Let's take a look.
The digital transformation of Jamaica's public health sector is progressing, and a key component is the implementation of an electronic health record EHR system.
Electronic Health Record System, System 1, or SI for short. When the patient comes for registration process, we would input the data on S1, and then this data will come around to wherever the doctor is or the nurse is. So they do not need to be waiting on health records to go and retrieve the paper record to bring to them. And if the patient comes with any investigation with the blood results, X-ray, any form of laboratory results or any external results, we would upload those at the time of registration. So when they come to the doctor and the nurse, the information is readily available.
Doctors will be able to see diagnostic scans on their computers and tablets remotely.
Right, and it also allows multiple persons to be retrieving the data simultaneously, or we can do data entry simultaneously.
You can actually measure time from arrival to time of triage, and thereafter every interaction with every member of staff is actually timed. So it is good for tracking, whereas the previous system, if the doctor or the nurse never actually wrote the time that they were seeing, it doesn't get tracked as easily.
It's a shift from paper-based health records management that is allowing improved patient care coordination, enhanced data accuracy, and better decision-making by medical personnel.
The names come up on the system, and as they are seen, there's a color change, so you know which one is seen by the nurse, which one is already seen by the doctor, which one is discharged. So each one of those, if there's no color change, you know that person has not yet been seen. So in terms of efficiency, that's excellent.
The EHR is being implemented by the Ministry of Health as part of the Health System Strengthening Project, valued at over $5 million. The EHR allows for not just patient registration, but also appointment scheduling and patient assignment in the triage process.
I know that for the outpatients department, definitely throughput is much faster, and the chance of people getting missed or neglected in the clinic is almost nil now.
The system, which is intended to go island-wide, is being initially rolled out in 13 health facilities over an 18-month period. Maypen Hospital was the first to operationalize the electronic health record system.
The reason why we were the first, I think, is because we were the most ready to receive and accept such a new system.
The first phase rollout will also include the Chapelton, Spanish Town, and St. Anne's Bay hospitals, as well as the Maypen West, Maypen East, and St. Jago health centers.
A patient arrived in the accident and emergency department and wasn't able to give adequate information. This patient was just being treated next door by the St. Jago Park Health Center, and we were able to pull up that information and to continue care. And so we are at a good place in public health. We are exciting, and I'm sure that the patient will get timely medical care.
As a nurse in charge of the labor ward, for me, I have my 24-hour reports on a daily basis, and I am able to get the information at the end of the day for each client. Easy accessible, one click away.
The island-wide rollout will network more than 2,000 computers and 400-plus medical-grade tablets that provide universal access to medical records. The electronic health record platform is based on the philosophy of one patient, one record, and is part of the plan for improving efficiency in access to medical services.
And what that means is that whatever data that is inputted concerning the patient when they come to see a doctor at a health center or hospital in this case, that data is pulled up based on their unique identification number. And you immediately know the history of the patient and therefore all the factors that may influence a treatment regime in a much quicker way.
With EHR, there is no challenge with locating your health records, and so care is timely and on point.
Data for the EHR is stored securely on multiple servers, and only authorized persons are allowed access.
The confidentiality of the patient's record is actually critical. So it's not like anybody can get anybody's record at any time. There has to be special permission from the medical records department to actually release the notes. And then that's the only way we can access it.
The system is expected to accrue significant savings of time and cost on tests that won't have to be repeated. The data generated will also assist in the formulation of better evidence-based policy making and program design by the government.
Regarding this staff, if you ask any of them if they want to go back to the paper system, you get a resounding no. They do not want to go back to the paper system.
So Bonnie, you renew your road license yet?
Babes, the road have me away. I can't even find time, but you know money for me.
Because see, I shall out them money the back for late fee and record fee when you sit down make your road license expire upon you.
Well, transport authority so we can apply online. And that may go to now.
Operators of public passenger vehicles and commercial carriers, renew your road license before April 1 and avoid late penalty. A message from the Transport Authority.
As we conclude today's edition of Jamaica Magazine, we hope you found these features informative and engaging. Stay connected with JIS through our website, jis.gov.jm, and on social media. On behalf of the production team, I'm Jabertha Atkinson, wishing you a fantastic weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.